transfer of functions as per Article 187 of the Constitution in 2020, and they received money from Nairobi County. They're also funded by the National Assembly, and there are also certain what they called presidential projects that they undertook. Chairman, after the dissolution of the NMS, all pending bills and all outstanding liabilities were to remain at that level of government, at the national level. Therefore, the person to respond to that, Chairman, would be the accounting officer in the office of the President. I know they have been paying a few of those bills. They have been sorting out quite a number, but those bills are not sorted out by Nairobi County government. They're sorted out by the Executive Office of the President under the head of Public Service. What we have listed here is what they presented to us in August of 2023 as their schedule or compendium of ongoing projects and pending bills that they're still sorting out. We're waiting for their final report because they give it to us as they sort it out. That information that would be accurate would then be offered by that office, Chairman.
Okay. Is that your exhaustive response to that statement, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Senator Kalwale?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've heard him, but I would require an opportunity to go through that response, and if it becomes necessary, then we would inform him to make time so as to respond to any supplementary issue that I would raise. I cannot be able to rule out supplementary questions just by dint of what he has just said. I need time.
And I think the most weighty issue that has come out, Senator Kalwale, is the fact that the governor says the responsibility lies with another office. And he has not provided any response for that matter other than what has been forwarded to him by the Office of the President based on the information he has shared. So our decision at this point is we are unlikely to get further detailed information from the governor. What we needed on record is that Nairobi City County is not holding that responsibility of the pending bills on behalf of Nairobi Metropolitan Services, and that responsibility lies somewhere else. That's why I've just given it to you, so that then maybe we might proceed to invite whoever is responsible, because the position of the governor assertively is that the only thing he can share with us is what was shared with him
By them.
on record by them. Okay?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I hear you, but under the principle of perpetual succession, it is understood that you took over the responsibilities of the government that you succeeded. That being the case, and because you are a former parliamentarian, you understand these things very well, why didn't you make an effort to come with that answer? That is my first supplementary. Second and last supplementary, Governor, is what is the status on the ground of these projects to which these pending bills were due?
Okay. Governor, you will pick if there's any other supplementary, so that when you're responding, I want you to respond to all of them, so that we manage the time that we have. If there's any other supplementary question on this side, I'll give the members opportunity first, and the friend of the committee can come in later. Senator Faki.
Governor, how was the agreement with the NMS terminated? Was it by a fraction of time, or it was terminated by mutual consent and agreement? And whether that termination was gazetted as required by law? Thank you.
Chair. Very good. Senator Eddy.
Yeah, Chair, I think that I want just to perhaps strengthen the question by Senator Faki, which is the basis for us to be able to engage whichever the officer that the governor has talked about in the office of the president. What is the basis for that termination? Is there a clear documentation between the county government of Nairobi in that termination that stipulates clearly the agreement of anything that is pending and with the timelines of when those pending issues, especially in terms of these pending bills, are, that the governor can be able to perhaps table to this committee so that we use it as a basis for inviting the office of the president to actually respond to this issue.
Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Your Excellency, Governor, I have there's a document I want you to look at. Running Committee of Finance and Budget. You've seen that document. After you came in as the governor, because these are events which took place before you came in as governor, did you have your teams go through, do some form of audit on everything that is in this list? Actually, have you ever seen this list? Have you? All right. If you have, I want the chair to bring the question of if he has seen the list, then I can go to my supplementary question.
You just ask, because this is the response to us.
Yes.
So evidently you must have seen.
So you must have seen the list.
Proceed to the supplementary.
Let me ask the supplementary question. Chair, the document is not paginated, but I will use just 3 examples so that Governor can most probably help us understand where we are. If you go to the contracts and the companies that did the work are listed. You see what if you look there, there's number 271, 283 as you go. I want you to go number 303. Njigu Ventures Limited, Waste Management, 52 million. Njigu Ventures Limited, Waste Management, 55 million. Njigu Ventures Limited, Waste Management, 64 million. Njigu Management, 314, 68 million. If you tally that money, that's about £1 billion shillings where somebody was collecting waste management. What was this all about? Yeah.
Very good. You will respond. Because you know what I wanted is, because of the question that I posed to the owner of the statement, is that if a Nairobi City County takes ownership of this liability and awareness, then we are going to interrogate this deeply.
Chair, I wanted you to allow the governor to answer that.
No, he's going to answer.
Then let him answer.
Because
with due respect.
Initially, there is a disclaimer from the governor.
Chair, that is information you have that I don't have. Why don't you let him answer?
I'm coming to that.
Thank you.
Besides, Chair,
Yeah, let him answer.
besides, Chair,
Yes.
we've all been in this space
Yeah.
now and for a while. The principle of perpetual succession
It's a continuum.
demands that the governor of Nairobi must respond to that question.
Okay. Now, I want to give the opportunity. To Senator Sifuna to ask you a question. I'll ask the last question because I want us to delve deep into this issue a little bit, differently in terms of whether or not the governor takes ownership of this issue. Sure. If not, then we are going to not have an opportunity to do what we are required to do. Senator Sifuna, your question?
Chair, it was not to give a proper background of all these issues that have led us to this point. And I wish you had spoken to me, because even before the Public Accounts Committee, we made sure that when we were dealing with the NMA spending bills questions, we brought the Comptroller of State House, who is the accounting officer for NMS to be present there with the governor. For your information, honorable members, at the Public Accounts Committee, we got the Comptroller of State House to acknowledge that these pending bills were a charge on State House. They are the ones to pay these pending bills. So that is why probably, Governor, you did not give that background in clear terms so that the committee understands that there has already been a conversation before the Senate where the Nairobi Metropolitan Service hosted at State House has accepted and acknowledged that these dates are not due from the county government of Nairobi. So it will help this committee a lot, Chairman. If you are discussing NMS pending bills, make sure the governor is here and you make sure that the Comptroller of State House is here. Number two, Governor, you need to table documents before this committee to show the understanding, because it is in writing, between your government and the NMS or the Comptroller of State House, so that you give these members comfort that there is somebody who's responsible for this. So other than that background, Chair, I will wait for, because my question is next, to deal with the questions that I have.
Finally, I think Edwin Sifuna has just picked some very important issue I wanted to say, because the issue of perpetual continuity that has been shared by Senator Boni Khalwale, I wanted to get to that, after the governor acknowledges the fact that the termination of the deed of, transfer of functions was formally done. And that Nairobi City County, in the termination, then there is clear clause on what Nairobi City County is responsible for and what any other entity is responsible for. That's why I was trying to get to that. So the question I want to pose to the governor was, this termination happened under your jurisdiction in terms of immediately you came into office. If that is the case, then did you formally terminate? And what were the terms of termination in terms of what were you responsible for and what was any other entity, for that matter, was supposed to be responsible for, so that then we are able to pick it up from there. Then the questions that Senator Onyonka has asked and Senator Khalwale and the rest of us can be executed. And I want to give you the opportunity to first get to, I'm getting a bit of information through maybe the committee that has handled this issue partly. I'm also getting information that there's an agreement that ownership of that liability is with the State House now. But then we don't have any formal documentation to that effect. And lastly, and any entity taking responsibility must be a legal entity that can be held accountable on behalf of these people whose pending liabilities are pending. And I want to start from that legality before we move into the other issues. And then that is why Senator Onyoka was just trying to put some checks, because the point of legality is we have deed of agreement that is gazetted, the initial one. But termination has not been gazetted. We don't have any document available to us that indicates what were the terms of termination, whether the perpetual continuity has been transferred and Nairobi City County is responsible, any other entity. And that's just the point that I needed to get, not to stop the governor answering from questions that we are supposed to be responding to. Okay?
Much obliged, Chair, much obliged.
Yes. Now, as governor, you can respond to those issues, and I want to plead with you to start from the legality part, so that then it informs us how we can proceed from there.
Thank you, Chair.